Hello everybody, welcome back. So today we are doing something very interesting, but I'm recording at the end of the video so I can't show you what's behind me. But what we're working on today is we are building a cathedral. So before I get into it and before I show you what's next, please remember to like and subscribe and just do all the fun things. Maybe even leave a comment if you feel like it at the end of the video. So, you can push it out more so more people can see it. So we can have lots of fun times here. We got me to 1k. I'm really happy about that. 10k is next, so come along for the journey. Oh yeah, you try and spell cathedral. I started building a cathedral recently on another server and it turned out looking really nicely, and I want to do it again but without mods, so I feel more natural about it, that sort of thing. It's a bit more basic video compared to my two recent ones, and that's because I've been very busy this week, but I just need to lay out this area here, get some of the grass area looking nice so I have a position to build on, because frankly there's not a lot of flat ground over here, and cathedrals are usually built on flat ground. So let's just smooth this out really quickly. Awesome. And then I'll probably just use world edit to maybe create like a big hole in the ground. I'll do all that off camera. I'll come back once I've started building the wonderful cathedral. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start doing is building out the front section, and I'm going to do this by hand when I could usually use world edit. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I want to start paying more attention to my builds. So every single block I'm placing, I'm thinking about what I'm doing rather than doing large scale projects where I don't think about small areas. That's another thing I learned with my town recently, where because I had to focus on a lot of smaller areas, it ended up looking a lot nicer than some of my other stuff. Now, you look at that and you're thinking, it doesn't look quite great. So what we're going to do is we're going to knock off these corners here, bring them 3 down, let's say like that. And then we can go boom, boom like that. And that should add a little bit of weight to it, a little bit of dynamic vision, a little bit of vision to the build. If we just bring that up like that, that looks a lot nicer now. And I think this middle section is missing something too, so we can maybe bring it out like this. We can see what works. We can bring things up. We can change anything we want. I really like that. I actually do really like that. I'm just thinking if we can raise anything up or change anything. But I do like what we have here. If we were to bring this area up, that would be a good area for some detail. Or in the front of it, which, yeah, that looks very nice. So I'll just bring these pillars up. Now, this is like the base. This is just like the idea of where everything's going to go. This isn't actually what anything's really going to look like in the end, because we're going to change out a lot of these colors and try and make it look more dynamic. So just bring that. Oh, wow. Those are 2 different levels. I didn't even know that. So yeah, let's bring that up one. That's half a level. Half a level it is then. Yeah, that looks all sort of nice. And then we just keep on working on this until we've got the details that we think work really nicely together. We have a lot to go now. We just need to build out the rest of the building. Oh, well, hello there. I've done a little more detailing, and I know it doesn't look perfect yet, and there's still a lot to go, but I like how it's coming together. There's a lot of details that we've thrown into this, and it's just I do like quite a few sections of this, and it feels very grand, and the level of detail. I was worried because the first cathedral I made, kind of cathedral, it was more like a tower that had like a cathedral style, but the first one that I made, I used mods to make it. So I was worried that I wouldn't really have the idea or knowledge on how to do that level of detail with regular blocks. Obviously, that was a vein, and I can do this apparently, and it looks very nice. I'm very happy with a lot of segments of it. It's very well detailed. Some parts I have to kind of hold myself back because the spikiness on the roof. If it was me, like if I wasn't holding back, I'd do like every single thing of this would be spiky, and it would just look like a nightmare, and I'd have to start again. So I'm holding back, trying to do as many little spikes as possible, trying to make it look just enough spikes in the whole thing. But I do really like the whole cathedral thing, and I've tried to use what I do know about cathedrals in the design. All the arrows pointing upwards. That's an interesting fact. The reason there's so many triangles in a cathedral is arrows pointing upwards, which is quite interesting. Which makes sense. It's like pointing up towards to God. I think it was like an old belief that they did when they were building them. So they're very well put together, and there's a lot of thought that's put into cathedrals. So obviously mine is probably going to not abide by most of the rules that cathedrals actually do abide by, but I'll try and remember as much as I can. And there are certain areas like this where I want these pillars to feel like they're more in front. So here's a neat trick that I want to show you. If I just use some andesite slabs in here instead, this darker objects look like they're in front, while lighter objects look like they're further away. By doing that, those darker pillars suddenly look like they're the things in front rather than what it was before. That was actually a bit of a silly mistake. It's the other way round. Lighter things look like they're in front, while darker things look like they're behind because of shadows. And we're just going to kind of just keep texturing this until it looks good enough. And once we've got all the textures done, then we do the details, which can include some texturing, which is interesting because oftentimes, like, how I explain it is something like this is not going to stay. Something like this, where it looks like I've just done a little bit of a gradient on there, that doesn't count as detailing. That's more texturing. But if I were to add a line in like this, that would count as detailing to me. And speaking of that, I actually kind of do like that. So that's staying. Yeah, that's staying in the build. I like that. Kind of adds like a bit of weight to the bottom of it, which looks really nice. These are the things that I'm talking about. They're quite interesting. You can learn you learn a lot as you go along, and add some of these in so it kind of feels like this isn't the only change. That helps it blend in a little bit more. What we've done so far is really nice, but now we're getting onto the. I mean, obviously we haven't even done the thing that I want to do at the back, because this is supposed to be connecting to something. Here, there's going to be like a structure back here, which I'm going to start working on and detailing now. So without further ado, well, hello there, welcome back. So I have done a lot of work, as you can see. I know that it's been a while since I mean, yeah, for you it's just been instant, but for me it's been quite a while since I came back, and that's because I've been wanting to do this back segment, and the only thing I have left now is the spiky things I want to do on the top of these, which I will do in my own time. But this is looking really, really cool. I really like a lot of this. I think it looks really brilliant. It gives off cathedral feels. There are areas, though, that I'm not too fond of, and they're areas where I could change. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do just yet, but I'll figure it out eventually. It might just be that I do it in the texturing phase and I make it look better then. But for now, what we've got so far looks really brilliant. I think the weight this gives off is a really cool thing. I just got to do the spiky things. I really like that when you walk inside, you've got this really beautiful entrance, and there's a lot of room inside here to do a lot with it. It's not like it's like dead or empty inside. Well, it is empty inside. I mean, it's got a lot of room to build if we wanted to do an interior for it. So I just need to do the spiky roofs, then we can move on to the texturing, which will be really nice. Whenever the areas that I'm not too fond of right now are probably these windows. They're too open for other areas where other areas are usually quite tightly fitted onto the build. But that might just be me. That might just be me being silly. I think the build's, yeah, working really well overall. This is the type of style I want to go for with this build. I mean, the whole thing hasn't been textured yet. A lot of it is still stony grey, but I've textured the sides. I've given it a much darker roof, which usually isn't the thing you go for. I decided to go more gothic with it. I mean, cathedrals are kind of gothic on their own, but going with the darker colours might be a little cooler. And then I went for like this orangey glass at the front, which is a really cool thing you can do just by layering glass like this, making it like that, adding like, let's say, that type of pattern on there, adding stained glass in randomly, and then from far away the different colors kind of combine together to create this mash of different colors. And then when layered with stuff on top, it looks like stained glass, which is a really cool technique that I stole from B-dubs. I think that's what he does, at least. I kind of saw a screenshot of one of his builds and then tried to mimic it, and that's what I came up with. So maybe it isn't, maybe it is. Anyways, this is what I have done so far. I think it looks really great. I think it comes across really well on the style of the build. Now, this back area is going to be a little more difficult to do, and I still need to do the windows in here, add some stained glass into these ones, but that should be pretty easy. As you can tell, I've decided not to do an interior for it because it is very big and I'm coming towards the end of the week, so I have to get to my editing soon. But this build is frankly very, very cool. I really like it, and I'm happy to say I think when I'm done with this, it will be officially my greatest build I've ever done. It's just crammed full of detail. The colors are so lovely. It's just a beautiful build in general, and I'm glad that I got inspired by so many other cathedrals I've seen online and people do. I mean, other people's are spectacular. Check out Vahan for that. I think they're on Instagram. Brilliant cathedral builds. I thought I'd give it my own shot, and I'm happy with how this is turning out. It's just brilliant. So I've been working on a lot of the textures for this build, and I think that they look very nice. Obviously, I showed you a bit of it earlier with the beginning segment of here, but what I've improved about this is I've added a darker layer underneath to make the brighter layer stand out a bit more. Obviously, I still need to do the andesite areas where I place andesite over the stone. Like, this area is very bland. There isn't a lot going on here, and especially around this back area, there's still a lot that I need to do. But if I just add some andesite in, it should add another layer of depth, another layer of light, and make it feel like it's a lot more detailed than it actually is. Although it is a fairly detailed build overall, I still want to go into a further level of detail so we can get a really cool atmosphere with this. I want it to feel like if I stood away from this and took a picture, I'd want it to feel like you're looking at an actual build, or an actual cathedral. Like, this could actually be an actual cathedral you're looking at, at least from far away. And I think that that vibe is actually coming off very lovely here. I think it does feel like an actual cathedral. Although there are some areas that do have that very bright Minecrafty feel, like with the windows and like with the door. But I think by adding those elements in, I kind of mix it with my own style, which is often, despite I do realism in a lot of my builds, I like to use fantasy elements. So I guess they do end up looking like they are something out of Dark Souls, like out of Demon Souls, like out of Elden Ring. I do get that sometimes when people talk about my builds, but I do like building in that style because they're just like this. It's this fantastic. It's like ethereal, and I really love that. And I just want to make this thing fit with that idea that I have in my mind of what it should look like. I tried looking up fun facts about cathedrals to put one here, but there weren't any. Well, hello everybody. If you could guess how long I've been working on this build, how long would you guess for? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. Well, I have been working on this build for approximately 10 to 11 hours. At least that's what my Discord says. I think the last time I checked it, it was at 10.5 hours, and I think it's been at least half an hour since then. This has been a much more complicated build than it looks, and I've been working on it since this morning. But as you can probably see, I've added some more details. There have been minor upgrades to the build overall, but most of them you won't really notice. They're things for me. But the main things that I've added is, first of all, these little trapdoors up here, which when up close they don't look great, but luckily you won't be seeing them from up close. They look like little birds from far away, and they look really nice. They swoop around the Gothic cathedral. It makes it feel very atmospheric and gives a lot of movement. And the second thing of note is the ground. I've tried to terraform the ground. I still need to add darker patches around the bottom of it so it looks like it's actually positioned in rather than just dirt around it. And I've done this little lightning bolt thing with the path. Instead of doing like a swirly path, it's a very sharp path. And I think it works really well for the front area. It looks so cool and realistic and just like neat. I really love that. I do need to add some bushes in, I just realized that. But the overall grass texture down here, even though it is mainly just coarse dirt, it does work. I want to do some gravestones. I want to do some more Gothic things. But this cathedral thing, I don't know if it counts as, I think it counts as a cathedral. Let's call it a cathedral. This cathedral is really awesome. And every single thing that I add to it makes it more and more one of my favorite builds, if not the best thing I've made. I love this thing so much. The design just pops. It's really awesome. It's been a while since I created something as cool as this. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. And I've also incorporated quite a few designs that I've used over the years into this. So I'm happy that they've all come together and they fit together really nicely. Oh, that went quickly. And with this, I'm just adding in some of the final touches to the ground. Let's get some wither skulls out right now, so we can just plant some of these guys. Oh, I didn't realize I grabbed one of those. Yeah, I didn't know I'd get the achievement for that. Yes, throw one of those down. That looks nice. Down in the corner over there. Maybe I can add like a lantern next to it. Oh, a soul lantern. That would look very pretty. Let me place that all the way down here. Now, you are at the end of the video. I am sorry to say. I would love to talk to you more, but I think we're pretty much finished on this cathedral. It looks very lovely in the end. I'm very proud of everything that we managed to do today, that we managed to put together. I added some graves in. I added some lots of just grass, and walking up to this thing. Oh, didn't mean to fall just then. Walking up to this thing, it looks really lovely. I love these birds. Honestly, I know I stole them and I know I didn't come up with this idea myself, but just using birds in a build like this adds so much like weight and size to the build. It looks so cool. And I love just the pathway here. That little zigzag just feels so in touch with the build. And I can imagine building this in a survival world and just like shocking people with the ore and everything. That'd be so fun. Now that you're at the end of the video, you obviously like the video, which means you can like the video, like the YouTube function. You know, click that little button and stuff, yada yada yada. But what else we can do is you can leave a comment, please, and that will help spread the YouTube video further. You know, by interacting with the video, you can like make YouTube do stuff. I don't know exactly how that works, but the more you click, the more I get shown to people, which means I can grow my channel and I can show more people awesome content like this in the future. I'd love to hear what type of videos you want to see in the future. I do really enjoy making videos like this because it allows me to stretch my skills. But if you'd rather see, or you'd like to see me try some survival stuff, maybe starting a survival world, looking at some SMP stuff, that would be interesting. I'm not working on anything like that behind the scenes. I don't know what you're talking about. But if you want to stick around and see things like that in the far future, then you can definitely try. You can definitely stay. I'd love to see you. Join my Discord. That's another thing that I almost forgot to mention because we've had a couple more members join. It's quite nice. It's more lively now, and I'm seeing lots of lovely builds, lots of lovely chatters. Thank you to everybody who is in the Discord talking. It means a lot. It makes me smile ear to ear whenever I open it up. I'm like, yay, people are talking. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you want to see more stuff like this, you know, subscribe. Again, bye bye.